We are now live.
Hey, welcome everybody. Just gotta do a roll call. Melissa, Kelly, Tracy. Lawrence,
And then from the city,
Richard, just a second, Kevin, and Nick. Now you can do it.
thanks. And then from the city, we have Tara online, Travis, Richard, myself, and Jeff.
Thank you. Looks like we've got some approval of the minutes. Looks like we didn't do one last month.
I think we have to change it. Yeah.
Okay, so approval of February 25th, 2025 minutes. Any errors or omissions on that one? I have a mover and a seconder. Kelly, Melissa, seconder, all in favor? Passed. March 28th or March 18th, 2025 minutes. Any errors or omissions, discussions? Seeing none, can I have a mover for that one? Kevin? Tracy, seconder, all in favor? Thank you. Any declarations of conflicts, whatever you say on that one?
We didn't receive any.
No. Okay, then am I turning this over to Alana for you to do the introductions for Jeff, or are you gonna?
Yeah, I can do that. I just want to take a quick moment and introduce Jeff McClelland, who's onboarded with us in the role of sports tourism. Jeff's in wet week 3, I think.
Yep.
So still getting his feet wet, learning the role. Was hoping maybe we can go around and do a quick introduction of our board, and then Jeff will share a little bit about himself and what he's working on. So maybe Kevin and Nick, if you guys can start online, and then we'll bring it down to the floor here.
Sure.
After you, sir.
Welcome from Sault Ste. Marie / Moncton at the moment. Welcome to the board and look forward to having you help us out.
Go ahead, Nick.
Hey, Jeff. I believe we work together very closely on some Greyhounds marketing and campaigns. So GM at the Holiday Inn Express, as you know, look forward to working with you here too.
I'm Lawrence Foster. I'm a professor of adventure recreation and parks at Sioux College.
Richard Walker, retired, with the Bushman.
Once Marvel, we worked together with the Greyhounds as well.
Yeah. From the Chicha.
Kelly Walker, no relation to Richard Walker. General manager of the Sleep Inn, just down the road there. Like Mary Poppins, I traveled in today.
Tracy White, Regional Director Operations for the Comfort Inn.
Cool, and you know us. So Jeff, maybe you can share a little bit about your background, where you're coming from, and then we can talk a little bit about what we're working on.
Yeah, sure. I was raised in the Sioux. I took sport management at Humber College in Toronto. After I graduated from there, I was working with Wheelchair Basketball Canada on hosting the 2014 World Championships. And then I got a job with U of T for a year there in their athletic department, coordinating a lot of their athletic events. Then I was in London for a couple of years, working kind of in a company that services a lot of provincial and national level sport organizations. So providing signage and medals and stuff like that to those organizations. And for the past 6 years, I've been with the Greyhounds. I was managing their game day operations and their corporate sales.
So pretty solid sports background. We're excited to have Jeff with us. Priorities right now, he's learning the ropes with the TDFs, learning how to work that process, supporting the ones that we have in place, and getting ready to start with the evaluations of the new ones. And then once we hear back regarding winter games, that'll be kind of priority 1 once we get that go ahead, which we're hoping for. Have to wait and see where that's at. Yeah, I think that's it. Do you have any other
I do not. We're very excited to have Jeff on board. You want updates in general? Okay, so I'm gonna touch briefly on waterfront design plan. So we're just in the process of refining some aspects of the cost estimate. I think for those of you that remember, I only had one coffee today, so we're running from meeting to meeting, so I'll probably slur like I'm drunk, but I'm not. When we were looking at the river pool option, it was gonna be a fully treated pool, permanent infrastructure, what have you. It became very difficult to, well, we weren't able to find any in North America. And getting the costing out of Europe and with the different regulatory requirements, we've opted for to look at a new option. And the National Capital Commission out of Ottawa did a floating pool in the Ottawa River, very similar kind of concept structure, although it's obviously an open pool. So we've just got the pricing from them. So we're just moving it forward with O2 to refine that cost estimate. Still targeting May to bring it to City Council, as well as to the board. We'll do a presentation with O2. I'm hoping at the same time, and Kelly, this will be probably news to you. I think everybody else would be aware, but we are looking similar to what Sudbury did, is bringing a recommendation to council about potentially increasing the MAT from 4 to 6 to help fund the waterfront design plan. So we're just doing some additional research on the communities that have done that, so that we've got kind of it well laid out for when we bring it to council. I'd be happy to talk to you either now or after the meeting about the concept there. So we're getting close to May, which means it's going to be bus season. So we did have a chat with Jeff. He is on track. The double-decker bus. Knock on wood, we'll be seeing it rolling around at the same time as the Miss Marie. So it's exciting stuff. That's about it on my end.
I will give a quick update. It was in the dashboard report too. It was right before Jeff onboarded. I went to Calgary to attend the Sport Event Congress to meet with the provincial and national sport organizations to take a look at hosting opportunities for the city. The purpose of that event is the large scale kind of national events, like Briar type events, to build those relationships. So it was very successful. We had some great chats. I met with probably close to 20 different provincial and national sport groups just to talk about opportunities. So follow-up is taking place now, and then I'll be handing that part off to Jeff to continue to carry on. That's it for my update.
Any other questions for staff? Next item is the Tourism Sault Ste. Marie audit. I think before I mentioned is under the new provincial legislation that's now into effect for not-for-profits, we do not qualify for an exemption for audit purposes. We're well over all the benchmarks, so we will be required an audit. So we went out to proposal, got 2 responses back in, and it would be our recommendation that to go with the Joe Ruscio firm. They were the low bidder, but they also, I think, had the best qualifications for previous audits. So I don't know whether anyone's got any questions about where we're headed, but more than willing to take any questions. Kevin?
Just want to make sure there's not a conflict of interest where Joe owns a hotel that pays into MAT tax.
I wouldn't think so.
I could take that and I don't know the answer, but I could take it to the folks that might be able to give us an answer on that.
Yeah, just to make sure before we put pen to paper.
Yeah. Not sure where his proprietary interest would be in that, but yes,
Yeah, I noted. Thank you.
Having said that, is we're gonna run out of time. Go ahead.
My suggestion. I think I know where you're going, is that when you bring forward the resolution. You just add pending confirmation, there's no conflict,
Okay.
and then. You know, we have a talk with clerks and hopefully green lit. And away you go.
The reason why we, actually, the reason why we pulled it last month was our corporation, its operations are merged into the city financial statement, so it's part and parcel of the city. That came out in the audit, on the audit, report that was presented to council a couple months ago. So we wanted to make sure that there was no conflict, or wasn't any problem appointing an auditor other than the city auditor, which which apparently we've confirmed. So that's the reason why it was pulled last time. But we need to get the audit going, because you have to produce it by sometime in June.
So we can just amend the resolution. I could write on the bottom of it.
So, any other questions on that particular aspect?
Just one last on there, I think you'll wanna add. In the event of a conflict, we will go to the next lowest vendor, just so we don't have to come back.
Right.
Pass the resolutions, but just write on it so that we have something to read.
Next item is Richard.
Did you get permission?
Yeah, did you touch my mouse?
Was that allowed? And does everybody know Richard?
Yeah, I know you.
So people, oh, this is gonna be a bit awkward. So I'm gonna do a presentation. Anyone videoing in, we cannot see you. So if you have a question, if you can say, I have a question. Because now we can see you in about 2 seconds. When I put my PowerPoint up, we won't be able to see any raised hands. So that time has started now. Okay, so I'm gonna do a marketing presentation on the objectives of 2025, and that will also include a review of marketing from 2024. The 2024 recap. Executive summary. In 2024, Tourism Sault Ste. Marie undertook an 8-point marketing plan.
Sorry, Richard, you're not sharing the file.
Maybe I should let you do that. So hang on, everybody.
Right there.
Yeah. Screen or that one. Okay.
And we can see everything too.
Oh, cool. Now we can
Just
see
confirming,
everything.
yeah.
What's that? Okay, so in 2024, we did undertook a 8-point marketing plan with an overall objective. Just gonna move you guys to increase visitation to the city. The secondary goal was to increase visitation to our website by relevant audience sectors from geographical area and interests. This plan included campaigns with Kevera, My North, Toronto Life, Village Media, Explore Magazine, Canadian Cycling Magazine, Single Tracks, Global Television, and PBS. In addition, we worked with key partners to extend our reach and size of our marketing budget. So I'm going to go through these at the top line and get into these in a bit more detail. So I'm just going to read them out. I don't think I've skipped them because we're going to get into each one in a second. First marketing goal was to align marketing to achieve objectives with a strategic plan to make Sault Ste. Marie be known as Ontario's best outdoor adventure town. Number 2 was to utilize the train to increase visitor stays and support other products. Number 3 was to increase brand awareness. Number 4, to continue to target the Michigan audience. Number 5, to emphasize new products, including mountain bike trails, urban hikes, and the downtown trolley. Number 6 was to maintain a digital focus. Number 7, continue to take advantage of partner opportunities. And number 8 in winter to attempt to win back people's trust after a bad winter. So the first one, make Sault Ste. Marie be known as Ontario's best adventure town. The approach, and we're going to go into the results in the next slide. So the approach for this was to use this phrase with as much marketing as we can, including, okay, so that was the approach, and we're going to talk about the results and how we did that in a second. To utilize the train to increase visitor stays, we produce listicle style articles with ads, with beautiful and iconic train imagery front and center. We also included links on our website of other things to do in the Soo in the fall and in the summer. So we're utilizing the train audience. To increase brand awareness, we added a 5th billboard north of the city, and we intended the Outdoor Adventure Show past February. For the Michigan audience, we did some print and digital marketing campaigns targeting the US. To emphasize new products, we created marketing for the new trails. We created our own travel inspiration posts for urban hikes. For the digital focus, we undertook a pay-per-click campaign with Kivera. We also utilized other digital publications, including Village Media. Partner opportunities, multiple collaborations with Destination Ontario and Destination Northern Ontario. And in winter, a lot of social media content showing the snow. So then the results of this, for Ontario's Best Adventure Town, our website reached almost 1 million users in 2024. I want to talk a bit more specifically about that in a second. To utilize the train audience, I think we had about 250,000 people visiting our train page. And from that, 47,000 that we know of, because of cookies and other privacy things, can't see them all, but we know for a fact that 47,000 people went from the train page to other pages within our website. 9K went to the stays, the accommodation page. 6K went to 5 ways to experience fall, and 4K went to summer in the Soo. So that was a good way to get people on the train page to other places in the Soo website. The brand awareness, of course, the 5 billboards, 4 coming from in between Sudbury and the Soo and the one north of the city. We constantly hear about people who see them. We hear anecdotal tales. You're not necessarily going to get hard results from that because it's virtually impossible with a print campaign like that. But it's great to hear anecdotally the amount of people who see these signs on a regular basis. And when we were at the Outdoor Adventure Show, this was, I think, our 3rd time of attending. We had really a lot of positive feedback and notable increase in awareness we felt from the first year and even the second year of people who knew what Sault Ste. Marie was, knew what our brand was, knew what we were about. And sure, we were talking to people based in Ontario and people who like the outdoor adventures, but that's our core audience that we're trying to reach. So it was really a good exercise in finding out how our marketing is going, as well as to actually market ourselves, we felt, for that show. For the Michigan audience, almost half of our website users, or 45%, came from the US. So that's great that we're continuing, or we did target them. For the new trails, in the fall, we did a really great piece with Single Tracks, which delivered 358,000 impressions. We also did some articles on the urban hikes, and of course the downtown trolley was delayed until the spring, which we just talked about, so we haven't done much marketing for that last year. For the digital focus, 81% of our marketing was on digital, and we saw a 42% increase in website page views year on year. And then partner opportunities, we managed to unlock partner opportunity contributions of 142,000, which is really good to increase our marketing budget. DO and DO campaigns in the US in June yielded 17.6 million impressions and 334 ad clicks to our partners. So that continues to be a really good marketing strategy, we believe. In the winter, we did a lot of social media content for November and December, and particularly some of the November stuff when people were excited to see snow, not like right now. We got 201 people, we reached 201,000 people. So when snow first comes in November and December, we get out there with a camera and show people, and we often get good results as a result. More specifically then, going onto our website. So we have 949,000 website users, which was up significantly from 2023, 1.5 million page views. a lot of those were on the homepage, but the train page as well as Experience Group of 7 and the ski page. You can see also the split between Canada and the US. The primary drivers for the website, it was, whilst we had a lot of paid media, it was really good to see organic search going up from 68,000 to 106,000. Of course, in a perfect world, it'll all be organic search and you won't be paying for it. But just seeing the increase is really great. From a referral point of view, we get a number of people who come from the Trains website itself, as well as from the Northern Ontario website, the portal, and from Searchmont. Off-site clicks, this is important to us because it's what we're trying to do is send people to our partner websites, accommodations and attractions. So we sent 107,000 people to the Trains website, 13.5 to accommodations, and the Sulok Tours got 13.5 as well. I've got a much longer list, but that's just the top 3. And then we do offsite clicks directly to from social media to partner websites, so kind of bypassing our website. And again, Sulok Tours did well with about 7,000, Full Rendezvous Festival and Searchmont coming in 2nd and 3rd. It's right, I have to move the screens, but on social media, our Instagram followers were at 4%, so we're about 20,500 at the end of the year, although it's gone up quite well. We had quite a good winter for it, so it's about 22,000, I think. We reached 222,000 counts. Facebook up 3%, so 34,000 followers and 4.6 million counts reached. And that was 2024. We're going to move on to 2025 unless.
Just a question.
Yeah, sure.
Do we know like the municipalities are getting like other tourism, cities for their tourism boards and are getting for their, I was like, that's an amazing increase in 1 year, but like. Whatever you feel, like what's that reading?
Yeah, that's I don't think we know that. Because I've
Like what
tried
they're getting in
delving
terms of
into it.
website traffic?
Yeah, like what's, I hate to use the example like Timmins, but that's where we always end up for things, right? Like. What's the, just to see the difference between, like that increase is super
Yeah.
impressive, that's awesome.
So I do track, it's not the same, but I don't have it with me, track their occupancy.
Okay,
So I could see where they're at in terms of occupancy relative to us, but I don't have their.
That's business they've already won. As opposed
Right,
to
so I
business
don't,
that
but
they're
I
trying to get, right?
don't know their analytics on, I would have to go digging.
We could ask.
Yeah.
They're like,
Just
it would
out of
be up
curiosity
to
see where they
them
stand,
to
you know, like-
decide whether they
like,
want
and
to
if-
share it,
Yeah,
but. I mean, we can put out that ask.
yeah, oh, for sure we can. I'm trying to think of where I might be able to find.
Last year I did a dive, not directly your question, but more specifically into how many clicks we get from our website to our accommodations website. So we get about 4%, and I was led to believe from chatting to a few peers that is fairly consistent with other industry standards. So 4%. So increasing in theory, if you increase your website users, as we did by about 300,000, then that's 4% of that will increase your clicks to accommodation websites. But yeah, to your point, I don't know what Sudbury Timmins
Yeah, I was just wondering, because. When we're looking at like provincial events and municipal event, like district events, we're trying to keep people in Northern Ontario, get people to Northern Ontario. But what are they searching for first before they do the research to even ask for the bid? Like,
Yeah, right. Good question. Maybe I'll try and
We do blow them out of the water, all of them in Northern Ontario on our Instagram and social media,
yeah, okay,
Like,
yes, social media, for
significantly.
sure.
so.
Yeah, we structure our website with as a regular referral source to hop, like you're on our site and then hopping off to partner sites where different DMOs have it structured where they keep them on their site and they house all the information there.
Yeah.
So it's a different.
Yeah,
You'd
we're
be
like-
not necessarily
like a-
comparing apples and oranges for referral sources.
Yeah. Just curious.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
good
good
question.
question.
Any more questions on 2024 before we move on to 2025? Oh, sorry, I do have a bit more information. So here's a breakdown of marketing by segment. So you can see this is just by spend. So winter at 19% was the single biggest segment. Though a lot of the other segments are non-winter, so don't think winter got more than summer, because summer by factor got kind of 81%. But winter 19% with the train also getting a lot, 18 mountain biking, events, and then summer at 7% is where we kind of generally target the summer atmosphere and summer products. But you can see then it goes down to Miss Marie, bush plane, hiking, etc. Confirmation that the digital spend was 81%, print 19%, and targeting US and Canada. Canada got 61%, US 39%. So that's just by budget. And the final thing to talk about is a quick note on what campaigns we're not going to be continuing for 2024 at least. These weren't, I wouldn't ever call these failures or not successes, but I think sometimes it's good to take a break, or perhaps we didn't see results blowing out the water. Explore magazine was a good example. Spent, a bit of money on that. It was in the print publication, presumably around Canada. It did fine on digital. It had 845,000 digital impressions, 118 clicks to the website. There's nothing wrong with that. It was a success. But I think maybe spreading out the frequency of campaigns in places like Explore Magazine is a better strategy than consistently doing it. The same I would say really for PBS. It happened, it wasn't super expensive. We targeted the older audience who watched PBS in Detroit and Buffalo, and we got 12 weekend spots. The train weren't, phoning me saying, oh, we've got thousands of people who watch PBS. But at the same time, I don't think it was a failure. I think any awareness campaign, you have to be realistic about what your conversions are going to be. So I think it was.
I think Trump's taking.
Yeah.
Support on PBS and
Yes.
public radio, so
Right.
and TV, so
Yes.
probably a good decision.
Right. Well, yeah, right. Outside Magazine, they curated a really good article on Searchmont. They did some really good research, really good writing. We actually utilized the article in our visitor guide last year. So again, it wasn't a failure. It was quite expensive. So we're giving them a bit of a break. Culinary Tourism Alliance, they actually visited us and took a whole ton of really good photos in a lot of restaurants and eateries that is awkward for us sometimes to do because you don't necessarily want to favor one over the other. So we kind of gave them some recommendations, high level, and let them make the decision. So we got a really good image bank of content from that. They also created, I think, 3 blog post articles. I was quite honest with Culinary Tourism Alliance. I'm not sure the blog post articles worked super well because they were often in combination with another location in Ontario, sometimes somewhere in the GTA, and it's great-ish. But is anyone coming to the Soo just for food when you've got Cambridge or Waterloo next to you? So I don't know. It wasn't a failure again, but I think it's perhaps something we'll take a little break on and revisit in the future. And that's 2024, 2025. So number 1 item, stay close to the US travel situation. Keep a presence in the market and be ready to react. That's the goal. Again, I'm going to have a second slide on how we're going to do all this. So know that we're going to talk about this in a second. Continue to push the Soo as the premier outdoor adventure capital in Ontario. Support growth attractions like the mountain biking trails, Miss Marie, trains new boxcar. Emphasize the new downtown trolley when it launches, which apparently will be soon. Exciting. Continue to utilize the train to increase visitor stays and support other products. Target cross-country travelers, maintain digital focus, take advantage of partner opportunities. And in winter, continue to emphasize winter. We have some new tourism winter videos, which will be launched next fall. So the first item, stay close to the travel situation. Be ready to react. So that's been the talk of the town, obviously, since pretty much Trump took over. It was a talk of the Outdoor Adventure Show, and we were fortunate to have a lot of our partners there. So we had a lot of discussion. We chatted to some people. We don't have a solid answer because it's such a fluid situation. It moves one day to the next. One day the tariffs are there, the next they seem to be reduced, and then I think sentiment kind of rises and falls like a tide. It's obviously important for us as a border city to be on top of that. So with some of the strategies we're doing are have regular meetings and communications with Destination Northern Ontario, and just staying in touch with our local attractions in the Soo. DO, who's Destination Ontario, did 2 surveys with 1,600 Americans actually. So one happened at the end of January, one happened at the end of March, and they provided the results. I don't know if you're curious about that, but I've got some notes here in case you wanted to talk about that. It was more or less exactly what we felt, in that there is concern from American travelers about coming to Ontario. But what that looks like in terms of the numbers is a little bit uncertain. For instance, the impact of the election 19% of people said they're likely to travel to Ontario less, but 20% said they're likely to travel to Ontario more. So you kind of feel like it might have split the audience a little bit, depending on perhaps which way you might lean in America. We have seen Canada being percentage of people who think Canada is less welcoming went from 15% to 35% between the 2 months, and Canada dropped down from Canada. Country is welcoming to the US from first to fourth with US, Mexico, US and Italy rising above it. So there is some concern, obviously, with the American audience. We've got a lot of information, but the way we want to approach that is to really continue marketing to the US, make them feel welcome. It's a big audience for us. We want Americans to visit Sault Ste. Marie. So we're going to maintain a presence in Michigan's Vacation Guide, which we work with up north, or My North, sorry. Another great opportunity at the end of June is to attend Engineers Day just over the river. It's a really great event. They have thousands of people. We have been 2 years in a row now where we set up a booth actually with the Bushplane Museum. We just hang out and talk to Americans as they come by. And I think it'd be great to do that again and field some questions and try and make Americans feel as welcome as possible. We have the opportunity with digital marketing to target where we want, and we'd like to continue to do that with pay-per-click and social media ads. But yeah, the overall top statement remains right to stay close to the situation and just be ready to react. But we think stay as welcome as possible. We want the Americans to come over. Number 2, Sault Ste. Marie Outdoor Adventure Capital. So we have 4 new videos for the summer, which we're going to be rolling out soon, which we filmed last summer. So we have one on fishing, hiking, paddling, and mountain biking. They're insider info pieces. They're beautiful actually, and they just have a good segment. You hear kind of insider stories from actual people who do these events and do these attractions. And I think that'll be really informative and a good way to increase the awareness of us and help us be associated with being the outdoor adventure capital of Ontario.
Have we thought about doing a video of Montreal River up to show all that scenery?
What do you mean? Sorry, like on a boat?
Well, you've got these videos, that scenery that's up north of us can't be replicated anywhere else in Ontario.
Yeah.
And you have to almost go to BC in order to see anything like that. So I just throw that out there, whether we can't think about doing something like that.
Yeah, it's a good idea. We have undertaken an SEO campaign with Kuvera to enhance our website's content and structure, and ultimately hope to gain make us rank higher on search engines and have a more organic traffic to the zoo. So that'll be really interesting to see what happens over the year. Support growth attractions like the mountain biking trails, Miss Marie trains new boxcar. So again, we mentioned this, we did a really good article in the fall. We'd like to do another article this summer with single tracks, focusing on the new trails and the Sault Ste. Marie Trail Festival, which is a growth event and has seen really nice growth between year 1 and 2. And we hope to see that growing for year 3.
What's the new boxcar?
So the Agua Canyon Tour Train has a new specific carriage, which has like theatre seating cars facing the rear and a huge window at the back. So it launched in last year's premium package. It's expensive. They're targeting groups. They kind of rolled it out quietly last year to see how it would go. It had, a dedicated member of staff to provide them with food and dining options. And it's, yes.
We need an influencer to go on. Do it for the day.
Yes, we tried to work with the train last year on that. We made some recommendations and we're going to continue to do that. Yeah, it's a great idea to do that.
Pretty.
So yeah, make the Marie and Trains Boxcar be part of summer marketing and groups marketing. Emphasize the downtown trolley when it launches. That's what we think it'll look like, right?
Yes.
We hope. It's in our visitor guide, so we hope it looks like
Have you
that.
seen it?
Yeah,
I haven't seen it with the wrap on it. I don't know that the wrap is on yet. It's imminent.
I've got pictures of it.
Is it on now?
Yeah, it's
Is it
kind of
so?
like that, but not. So, but it's close. It's close.
This was in discussion when I was on the board the last time, but it's new to me.
Okay.
So can you just maybe explain
Yeah,
how we
so
got to this point? And what?
Do you want to take it, Travis, or I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I think just in a nutshell, you know, Sheila and Jeff were looking for a way to kind of round out the experience, you know, from the people that they're attracting for the Miss Marie as well as the brewery. They wanted to source a double-decker bus. They were looking all over kind of the globe, found the old one behind Hiawatha off of
up in
Case
the
Road
King's scrapyard?
in the scrapyard, dragged it out of there, have been spending close to a year, if not more, refurbishing it. And what's interesting is the picture that they were able to find of it is in front of the brewery down there.
So that one on the bottom is the exact
Oh,
bus
Yeah,
Oh,
of when
wow.
it was in operation.
That's cool, okay.
so it'll be a hop on, hop off tour. I think it'll be approximately an hour long if you were just to stay on it.
Oh, nice.
You know, going to a lot of the downtown cultural attractions, the Canal District. You know, potentially all the way over to Bellevue Park and the mall, and you know, what have you, and obviously Bondar with the boats and
Right,
what
so
have
they
you.
have chosen their pickup and drop off spots already? Yeah.
And then you have an option of buying just a ticket for the bus, or you could do a combination ticket with the boat and the bus.
Alright. Good job.
Tourism put in funding to help support that.
So yeah, use earned media as much as possible. Social media posts, local media, website listings, etc. And then use some paid media to boost that once it's up and running. Utilize the train. So seek new audiences. We're gonna do we've noticed a lot more new Canadians using the train coming up from GTA. So we'd like to sorry, I don't have it. We're going to be working with a company called Singtao Media, who are a Toronto-based Chinese language media organization. So we've engaged with them. I guess you could describe them as being like a little bit like Village Media, but in Chinese language in the GTA. So we've engaged with them, and we're going to be working with them to promote the train. They're actually going to come up here and do like a fan tour in June, end of June, beginning of July. So that'll help try and reach a new audience for us, and we'll see how that goes. Emphasize the boxcar, particularly to the groups, and combine with other products or marketing the train. So using, you know, we know a lot of audience are going to come to our train website and come to the train. Hopefully, get them to stay for an extra day or two. Go to the Bushplane Museum, Miss Marie, do some hiking in the area, etc.
You know that when you're talking about the other products is the Bushplane and Atomic are doing presentations on the train special ticket. And all
Yes,
that
absolutely, in
stuff.
August. And as a side note, we actually referred to that a lot when we were at the Outdoor Adventure Show, and we continue to do so when anyone is considering coming here in August. We're always trying to bring the train to people to come in August, because September and October sells itself. And the Bushplane Museum, their collaboration with the train is a great way to do that, especially particularly to bring young families on.
Also keeps them awake on the way back.
Yes. Yes, so that's target cross-country travelers, maintain the digital focus and look for partner opportunities. So we have the roadside billboards, we have digital media magazines such as Village Media and Single Tracks, and then work with Destination Ontario and DNO again to be able to extend our reach as we did last year. So the new tourism videos, we've got these new tourism videos, sorry, for the winter. So next fall, we will bring these guys out. The downhill skiing, cross-country skiing, and fat biking. We've got 3 really good videos, which we just completed fairly recently. They look really good, but we're going to hold them until the end of summer. And then again, for winter 2025, 2026, we'll show people. These are some of the social media posts we had success with in November, where you can see at the bottom there, like, 54 shares, 556 likes. And again, for the outdoor rink, which doesn't quite look like that today, a lot of success showing people the kind of good side of winter when it comes. That's it. That's the presentation. So thank you very much. If you have any questions, let me know. And we'll stop sharing.
Back to Richard.
What's that?
What about you? Sorry.
Next is going to be the tourism development funds, Healthy Marine.
You wanna do that one? You want me to do that one? Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Okay. You do it. So, Richard had touched on this briefly in the marketing presentation, but the Salty is definitely one of those events that we see a lot of potential with and have really demonstrated, from year 1 to year 2 to year 3, a plan for growth. So, I've included a lot of the details in the application summary. I'll go through it just, kind of high level, but new this year, they're looking to add in an ultra distance race, which will be taking place on a Friday. And it's gonna be, starting down at the plaza and working its way up, so kind of tying in to the downtown area, which is a nice, addition. The festival itself is looking to continue to grow with vendors, food, kind of creating that vibe outside of just the actual festival or the race itself, making it more into a festival type weekend. This is the 3rd time we've been looking at support for them, so they had funding in year 23, 24, and now 2025. We're looking specifically this year for funding to get them through the next 2 years to support marketing and the growth of this event. Anything else?
I think the main thing is substantial growth. Year 1, they had about 15 people from out of town. Year 2, it was close to 150. They're adding, as Alana alluded to, kind of a mega distance, a 200-mile event, so they are adding a new product. Right off the hop, when they open registration, over 30% of over 30 people that registered right off the hop were from the States. So I think a good product that's going to continue to see growth, and I think we just want to assist with the marketing to continue to get the message out, and hopefully this is one of our premier homegrown events. And the funding is split between 2 years, so.
Yeah. To give them some consistency so that they have a plan for the next 2 years to be able to continually market and not have to wait for another application.
So I see it's on July the 26th. We approved some stuff last time. And is there a conflict on the dates so that
I think what else?
we're doing a run that was starting at the brewery?
Oh, those ones are in June.
Oh, in June?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that's the Community Strong Festival.
Okay.
Community Strong, yeah.
And
race
when
weekend.
is Rotary Fest?
Weekend before, I think.
July 13th weekend.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're not.
Any questions on Salty? Next up is the Copa Giovanni Soccer Tournament. So, this is also the 3rd year for the soccer tournament. In previous years, in 2023, the soccer tournament applied in combination with the Italian Festival as one joint application. Last year, no funding went to the soccer tournament. It went strictly to help with the Italian Festival. This year, the soccer tournament has asked for funding to help support the tournament itself. They too have demonstrated very clear growth. They've added new divisions in last year, have clearly demonstrated the ability to bring in people from out of town to participate in the tournament. They're looking for funding to help support that this year. The tournament is running from July 4th to the 6th. It's going to be at Strathclair. They've built out a whole festival type environment over there as well, with entertainment and food services and whatnot to try and service the people that are coming in. They've added in a women's division, and years ahead, they're going to be looking at adding in a youth division to be able to continue to grow that. Last year, they brought in, do I have the numbers in here? Teams from out of town. They had 12 teams from outside of Sault Ste. Marie last year. They're looking to grow that again this year. So again, I think this is a great opportunity we don't have a homegrown soccer tournament. It's a great opportunity for Sault Ste. Marie to have their own in the summer. Definitely have shown that they've already gone to market. They already have teams registered. There's definitely an interest to bring people in.
Why 7,300?
That's their shortfall. They give out a decent amount of prize money in this tournament, and that's what they use as the lure to bring people in. The TDF, as you know, can't provide prize money, so it's infilling the budget difference.
Petoskey always has a big soccer tournament, it's usually in this.
Yeah, they have two. We're actually attending the one in this end of May.
Yeah.
But yeah, for kids as well as
It's
for,
huge.
yeah, and they have another, well, and Traverse City. They have both one in spring and one in fall.
Got a question?
Kevin?
We talk about this every meeting, as to these events becoming self-sufficient. And is this something that they're working toward, or are they gonna be coming to us every year for more money?
It's definitely a conversation that I think we need to, when the Tourism Development Fund first started, we were thinking it would be kind of one and done. We're seeing that groups are coming back year after year. I personally think it's a conversation that we need to have to look at what direction do we want to go? How do we best support these groups? The ones like the soccer tournament, if they're growing and showing that they're adding something new, I treat them slightly differently because they're adding more in. There needs to be. We need to come up with a direction of how we want to treat these ones that are annual year after year. I don't have the answer of what that looks like. For me, especially with the soccer tournament or the Salty, if they're growing, I stand behind getting behind to help continue to support them.
Well, I mean, I'll add as well, so, yeah, I think Alana and I have had a ton of conversations about this. And I think we kind of, probably do need to come back to the board, but I think our logo, Tourism Sault Ste. Marie's logo, should be at all of these large events. And a requirement of the TDF is that they show recognition of our event, and the reason why they're gonna have our logo there is because we're providing sponsorship. So I think to some degree, we need to stay involved. What that looks like from a financial standpoint, like in terms of whether it's a declining rate or do we cherry pick some of the as Alana said, growing kind of flagship projects. I think we need to decide, but we haven't landed that plane, and we're gonna continue to give it some thought. Maybe we bring it back as just like an open discussion with the board. And I would suggest, just so we don't trigger the board meeting protocol, if you do have any suggestions, send us an email independently, like don't copy the board, otherwise it's considered a meeting. Because we've gone back and forth on this a million times on how we could potentially look at structuring this.
And I guess my only other comment is that the TDF fund is continuing to grow. It's not shrinking.
Yeah, it's close to 800,000.
There's a lot of money there to invest in these events.
I think this year, like specific to this, they were a joint with the Italian festival last year. It was a double whammy for ask for money, and now this year it's independent on its own. So maybe it's its first year on its own, so maybe it needs that little help. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how they ran their books. I don't know how they partnered between the two, but and I agree, like we need tournaments here.
We need tournaments here.
And they've grown. I think they've grown exponentially in the last 3 years. So if we were looking at less teams coming, then I'd be like, no, we're not helping. But they've grown exponentially since the last with full on plan to now they have a women's league division, next will be kids.
Yeah.
I don't.
And I think we need to put a pin in it, but one of the conversations that Travis and I have had, and as the person that spends a lot of time evaluating these events and looking at, how do we best support them? There's an administrative lag in reapplying every year wrapping it up, doing the paperwork, waiting 3 months, applying again, where it's just very much a stop, start. I don't know if it's doable. I don't know if it's an option, but one of the conversation points is, can we look at projects that we say, we know that this one has potential? Can we look at a 3-year plan to commit to them? Put that plan in place, provide the support over that X amount of time, and then that project ends at 3 years and say, do we want to continue or not based on what we've seen? So those are the conversations that we're having internally to look at what does that look like? And how can we do it so that we don't spend so much time just looking at it microscopically 1 year, okay, the next year, let's look at it on a much larger scale and put a really effective plan in place that we can support with our event staff to say, these are the things that we want to look at, this is what we're going to measure on, and we'll revisit you at the end of that time.
And I think as part of that, you know, they would come to the board, provide a presentation on the performance of the event in that particular year, talk about plans. I do think, and this is kind of the ongoing conversation Alana and I have had, is like, there's an off ramp. So hypothetically, they just do not fulfill their obligations year 2. We're not stuck on providing funding for year 3. So there has to be some sort of mechanism there, but.
Which we do through the TDF anyway, because everything's paid up front.
Yeah.
Like, I think there's a way to do it, and then. Again, back to the administration part, you're not doing the application, evaluation, council, board report, wrap it up, and then 3 months later doing the exact same thing again.
Right.
Cause they wanna get going. So. That's the conversation that Travis and I have had. We spent a lot of time looking at. How best to streamline this application, streamline this process, so that. We're efficient with our time, but we're also providing the best support we can to these events. And really giving them the attention that they need to be able to do it, and not just so much on the paperwork side of it. Long answer to your question, Kevin, but yes, it's on our radar to try and help fix that.
My only comment is, obviously, there's going to be a difference if it's a for-profit, whether we're going to support it. But the other thing would be, should the application say that there is an intent, if you're looking for support, that we help you become self-sufficient, so that it's kind of an understanding that that's what we're helping you work toward, but at some point you got to stand on your own 2 feet if it's really that good of an event. But you're on the right track for sure.
Yeah. Any other questions on the soccer tournament? Okay, I will move along to the next one, which is karate. So this is a first time application from this group. They are hosting the IKD Canadian National Karate Tournament here in Sioux. It's going to be held at the YMCA. This is a group that had bid on this to bring this event to the Sioux. It was on the East Coast last year. I think it was in Nova Scotia. They have a very good plan in place. They have participants that travel to this tournament every year based on qualifications. So it's pretty secure in terms of anticipated numbers. They've opened up registration. They're seeing people coming in and registering already. They do have a host hotel. I'm excited because it's been a while since we brought in a recognized martial arts tournament to the Sioux. We have unearthed that there is a product gap in the Sioux in terms of being able to have the proper mats to be able to host events of this size. So that's a conversation that we're looking at. You know, if we can bring these types of events back, maybe there's a product development application or something to come in to help support them. We're bringing in supplies from out of town to do this one. Very confident from my side. I have no concerns with the group. They are locked and loaded, ready to go. They are looking for some support just to get everything marketed and advertised out to the right groups, and to provide some venue rental support so that they can have money in the bank to be able to run it. So you don't make money on this. This is just bragging rights to be able to host.
Sorry, what group is putting it on?
IKD is the group, International Karate Day. They're on Wellington Street.
You wanna say that?
I don't know how you say it. Anybody?
That's my challenge.
Daigaku? Daijak, yeah.
You could tell me. Yeah, exactly.
So locally, would they be putting on local tournaments? Because this is a national one.
Yep. Well, that's what we're gonna work with them on to see what else we can bring in. They've done small seminar type, as I feel stuff, seminar type stuff, but they haven't done a big Canadian nationals before. I think so, yeah. Yeah, no, they've been, sometimes when you see applications come in, you review them right off the hop and you're like, I have 1,000 questions. This one came in, I was like, okay, I get it, it makes sense, the application was clear, they're a good group to work with. Any questions on that one? Okay, that's all I have for TDF.
Ready for the resolutions?
Yeah, I tried to write something on here, feel free, yeah.
First one is, what do you call it, IKD?
Yeah.
Be it resolved that the tourism Sault Ste. Marie directors recommend a contribution of 5,000 through the Tourism Development Fund Conference Special Event Stream. Support that. IKD Canadian Nationals to be hosted October 18th, 19th, 2025. And a report be submitted to City Council for consideration and approval. Any discussions? A mover, Ellie, seconder. Lawrence, all in favor?
I will say with that one too, they had originally had the weekend before Thanksgiving as their tournament date. And sent their application in, and I went back to them and said, really kind of a bad weekend. Like, well, this is the date we were given, and they went back to the governing board, to people that have already booked their flights, to people, and they changed their date for us. So. Kind of cool, fun fact.
Next one is the soccer tournament. Be it resolved that Tourism Sault Ste. Marie Board of Directors recommends a contribution of $7,300 through the Tourism Development Fund conferences and special event stream to support the 2025 Copa soccer tournament to be hosted July 4th, 6th, 2025. And a report be submitted to City Council for consideration and approval. Any discussions on this one? A mover? Melissa, seconder? Tracy? All in favor? Motion passes. Salty Trails. Be resolved that Tourism Sault Ste. Marie Board of Directors recommend a contribution of $10,000 to the Tourism Development Fund conferences, special event stream to support the Salty Marie Trails Festival hosted July 26, 2025. And a report be submitted to City Council for consideration and approval. Any questions? Over on this one. Lawrence, seconder. Kevin. All in favor? Motion passed. Okay, here's the one we'll fumble through.
We'll fumble through it, we can. What I did find out from clerks is it doesn't have to be exact, as long as the intent is there, I can streamline the wording after.
Okay. So be it resolved that Tourism Sault Ste. Marie appoints Joe Ruscio Professional Corporation as the auditor for the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2024. And further, the Board of Directors authorizes the chair to execute the necessary agreement to engage their services. This agreement is pending confirmation of pecuniary interest. In the event of a conflict, Tourism Sault Ste. Marie will award to the next lowest proposal. Any questions on that? Sounds pretty good to me.
On the whim?
We have a mover for that one?
No.
Oh, Kevin's got a question.
Oh,
You're muted.
Yeah, I know. I got two screens going. Everybody relax. The only issue, I guess, is on a separate occasion, a conversation was had with Joe Ruscio about supporting something that was a charitable cause, and he said because he did the books for it, it was a conflict of interest. So I just want to make sure, because he is partial owner at Quattro, that doesn't impact his ability to support tourism in any way, because he's now doing our books.
I guess my only comment is, I mean, they did did a proposal to us, so they must have checked out that they, I'm guessing. I don't know the answer to that.
Okay, just
Ask Joe, I mean, if we
Well,
get an answer from clerks, and then go back to Joe just to make sure he's comfortable with
Yeah.
it.
Okay.
Anybody else with a question? I get a mover for that one. Melissa? Nick, a seconder? All in favor? Motion passed. That's it. Next meeting, May 13th.
That seems really soon. I don't know why, but I'm like,
when you have,
15.
it's a month, and the reason that it's the 13th is because of the May long weekend. And if you move it to the last weekend, then you're
Then it's 2 weeks away.
2 weeks in between.
Time is just passing by.
yeah.
Yeah.
Motion to adjourn. Lawrence? We're good.
Right.